Hello, my name is Matthew Griffin, and thank you for watching this video. Today I'm going to talk about Jabar Boykin and his poetry. Jabar Boykin is an author who graduated UNCG with a MFA in poetry. His most recent work is Whatever Happened to Black Boys, a poetry chapbook that was inspired by the 1958 kissing case, in which two African-American boys were arrested and sentenced to prison because they were kissed by a white girl. His book and poems cover the biographies of black men from the past and present, and the struggles, oppression, and pain they experienced due to a systemically racist society. These poems are releasing at a Chiric moment, as the recent inexcusable killings of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and several others have amplified the Black Lives Matter movement and the cries to defund the police in America. Poetry is known as a medium that allows for strong pathos in its audience, as well as personal stories with strong delivery. Boykin uses this medium to recontextualize struggles of black males in a way that allows for empathy and knowledgeability. Jabar Boykin's first poem is titled, Here's What Happened to My Father, and is told from the perspective of a child recounting how his father left him. It is heavily inspired by the French fairy tale Beauty and the Beast, which is a very well-known tale in America. This immediately grabs the audience's attention by playing on nostalgic feelings for a tale they are likely familiar with. He adds to that pathos by tapping at the feeling of fear and curiosity that one might experience during childhood. As a child describes, quote, inside he found purses, padded chairs, lampshades, all fashioned from the skin of former slaves. They spoke to him, but my father wouldn't listen, end quote. This morbid take on a classic story helps to put the audience in the mindset of how black males perceive their struggles, and ends in a brutally realistic way. Quote, a few months later I saw him at a service station in town. Turns out he just didn't know how to be a father. Boykin uses this poem to greatly play to the audience's imagination, but he does not offer much ethos or logos, as there are no specific arguments to be made or validity on the writer's part. However, his second poem, Mud, has a much stronger but very different effect. He uses bleak and borderline morbid imagery to describe the racism that is figuratively and literally rooted in society. Quote, you can't mention black folks without the mud, toe roots trapped between brown glue, but somehow we still manage to electric slide our way through the drum of thunder. He describes a poisonous rain that instinctively damages the scalps of his ants, while his cousin wear hats to prevent it, much to his aunt's chagrin. This allegory symbolizes how black Americans are often seen as inferior despite their ability to command respect and ethos. He uses it to make the audience feel uncomfortable in their own skin, allowing them to become vulnerable to the character's plights. Boykin also uses ethos to uplift the audience with how African Americans fought racism by altering the words used against them. Quote, but we tried to make it beautiful, replaced the ER with A, took the growl out of the G, paired with a hug and a handshake, put it in our music, end quote. By doing this, Boykin offers a lens into African American culture and uses the metaphorical dirt they must sift through on a daily basis. However, he still ends the poem in a futile way, insinuating that black people will still fail to gain the respect they deserve as long as the poison rain is still present. In terms of pathos, Boykin greatly uses pungent imagery, metaphor, and anecdotes to convey these struggles. And by using realistic example of how black males overcome them, he gains ethos in his position as well. Overall, Boykin's poems from Whatever Happened to Black Boys fulfill his purpose of helping the audience understand how racism has affected black males in America and why it matters to future generations. While poetry may be difficult to utilize in terms of logos and ethos, it is a medium that cannot be understated as a way to express pure emotion and vulnerability, which makes it a worthy platform for activism. Boykin uses this to advocate for the experiences of black males in America and how they can become much better by sharing knowledgeability of these experiences. Thank you, and have a good day.